Hi, it's a gloomy morning in Finland, snow and ice and mist. What better time to make an RPG review, and a horror RPG review at that. So, I'll be reviewing Hunter the Vigil, the new World of Darkness game, which requires the World of Darkness core rulebook, which I reviewed earlier. This first video will be just a general overview. In the other parts I will go deeper into detail on the different chapters and end up with a video on house rules and some of my experiences. Anyway, let's get started with the physical copy. Hunter the Vigil looks like this. 374 pages for €35. Good index at the back. Layout is very good. Black, white and green, which is might seem a bit odd at first, but it actually is very restful to the eyes. Easy to read. Some artwork here. I'll show you one of the secret societies. Art is pretty good too. There are a couple of real misfires in the art department though, but luckily those are in the minority here. So, what's this about and why should you get it? Well, you could play a Hunter type game with just the core rules, but what this does is it expands the World of Darkness to include all sorts of great secret societies, weird corporations, global conspiracies, and it gives those mortal characters a bit more of a punch, a bit more of an edge against the supernatural threats. It expands on character creation as well. Of course, you still make your character by using the core rules first and then move on to this book. There are not that many more things to keep track of for Hunter, but it's enough to make them distinctive of just basic mortals. They get certain mechanical advantages that can be quite significant and definitely set them apart from just the core characters. So here we have usually a cell of hunters, a group of hunters working in the shadows against the shadows, putting their lives and their minds on the line, their sanity I should say, on the line to defend the sleeping masses from the encroaching darkness. And usually their sacrifices go unnoticed by the general public, which is how it should be, because if the masses ever awake to the reality that monsters are real, widespread panic, certain plots go awry, people start dying en masse, it's a bloodbath. So the Vigil continues. And the Vigil is not a specific thing, it's just a term that the hunters use to recognize that, okay, this other person is in the know. They're part of the hunt. This is really good for someone who's completely new to the World of Darkness. This is the one that I would start them up with, because there are general concepts here that are familiar to most people from pop culture, like the TV series Supernatural, and of course, if you want to go way back, X-Files, stuff like that. But here what's wonderful is that the world is left pretty much undefined, and the storyteller can pick and choose what secret societies they want to use, stuff like that, so that it's not all like tied together in a bunch like in the old World of Darkness games. Usually all these different groups would be somehow like they would have relationships with each other, and there would be conflicts, and it would already be pretty involved before the game even began. But here they're standalone, and you can pick and choose. If you don't like one of them, don't have to use it. And overall it gives a lot of ideas on every page to both the storyteller and the players. It offers a lot of variety, and for someone who wants a very grim and gritty experience, this is one of the best games out there, without being overly complex in the mechanics department. It's still just like a simple dice pool thing, and although hunters get things called tactics, which I will explain in another video, even those are still kept very simple, very effective but simple. And you can run all sorts of different types of games with this. If you want to make a group of scholars that do some, I don't know, ghost hunting on their spare time, it works fine. If you want to make a neighborhood watch group that discovers that, oh my god, some of the people in our neighborhood have gone missing, and the authorities don't have the resources to go looking for them at this moment, so they go after them, and maybe they find something horrific and weird. Or maybe the hunters are a collection of pretty in-the-know people from different sorts of secret societies brought together by a common benefactor who wants to assemble a team for a very specific mission. Stuff like this, it's very flexible, and in 374 pages are a lot of evocative like examples of how things can go wrong, and which is always the fun part, and the things that the hunters have to contend with. Not just monsters, there are those in the book as well, but also themselves. What happens when you have to sacrifice your time to the hunt, when you have to start distancing yourself from your family and friends because they don't understand and they can't understand. And if you really love them, you don't want them to be able to understand what you're facing. You want to spare them the pain. So you start pushing them away a bit. You might start self-medicating, all kinds of things. And really, at the end of the day, the only people who really understand are your fellow hunters. So it brings up this theme of isolation, and it works really well. It, more than any of the other New World of Darkness Alliance that I've read, this one really hits home because it's just a normal person. You're not some weird thing. You have a life that you slowly have to give up, that basically you sacrifice slowly but surely everything you have, and there's no getting out of the Vigil. I mean, you can try, you can retire, but most likely, just like they say that no man is an island, that basically if you kill someone, they have friends and so on. No monster is an island either. I mean, you might get a knock on the door one day, and it's a thing with tentacles and teeth and horrible things. But anyways, it's still just the real world, but different. And I would heartily recommend this to anyone who wants to bring a new player to this rule system, or if they know that their players are like fans of some of these investigative type shows or supernatural type shows. But yeah, more on the different chapters in another video. Thanks for watching, and have a very nice day. Hopefully a bit more warmer than mine. Bye.